So thank you, Jagari, for the wonderful anecdote with which you started with the question, and a warm good afternoon to the erudite scholars and inspiring writers. And it's a joy to be on board with Ethos. A special note of gratitude to Kirtiji and Havakal for bringing up this topic on limitations of classroom teaching and where do we place the contemporary poets. I'm sure the whole panel and the entire audience would agree with me that on one hand, we have a voluminous output of contemporary poetry, and on the other hand, we do have an unupdated syllabi which still has only Anglophone poets. So there is a need to bridge this chasm, and how do we do it? We have a post-pandemic scenario where in the very first hour, the student can be so tired because they are so much into the screen energy. Yeah, so much that their attention span, you can see drooping eyelids. I'm sure all of us who teach would experience that. So what happens is this limitation and this challenge is also an opportunity for a 21st century teacher wherein we can make poetry demonstrative, engaging. So what I have tried doing in this kind of a heterogeneous classroom is, when I introduce contemporary poets, sometimes it is part of the syllabi, or it is like once a week I have a poetry talk with them, wherein once I ask them to read that up or give them a clue on the writing part of it and then put them into a discussion. I interweave my classes with basic fine arts, meaning to say, have a group to compose a song out of the poem which can be engaging, or at the end of a poetry class or somewhere in the middle, I ask them to draw what they have understood, because I have a heterogeneous group wherein a few of them understand everything that you say, the others may not even understand the language part. So whatever they can really understand, that would be put into a kind of drawing. And also sometimes I ask them to do a kind of a group collage of what they have understood. Or I have also hosted mock literary festivals in my classroom, wherein I ask them to write about something, compile it as now they have their computers, have put it into a kind of a book, and the various groups should invite a reviewer from the other group so that they get to read also, and a kind of a review culture also is there. And that person, like how Dr. Sukrita released the book, the person comes and releases the book. So what happens is these are examples of making poetry more demonstrative. And in all this, I understand this is possible when the teacher is passionate about poetry. Because on one part, we have all literary festivals, so much of publication that's going on. But I know the rest of India, say at least 80%, they will not really know who's the contemporary poet. Yes. That is a great divide, contemporary people. So I go back, I show them the videos that I have taken, give them a link to the books that are there. It may be part of the syllabi, it will not be a part of the syllabi, but one thing that can appeal to them is contemporary poets write about the age in which they live. So these students will be able to appreciate poetry of their age. And then of course we make a space. I bring it down to the assignments or seminars where we create a space for them so that they come and explore whatever they have experienced about it. And I also once tried, for one semester, I tried coffee with a new voice, meaning to say like every, say twice a month, students could come up with a new voice they have found. At the same time, I should also tell you that students do not really know who is a contemporary poet, because all of them are online. Many of them are online, and they are on Facebook, and unless you have a better reading, you will not be able to identify. You have plagiarized work, AI generated literature, so many things are there. But then when we create a space for this and when we have conversations, we also allow the children to choose what the right literature, what kind of poetry it is about. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, you have, ma'am. And I must say you, ma'am. And I must say you, I would be seeing buffaloes and cows and goats. So, I don't know how lucky my students are going to be.
And the whole job is, once we identify, we also have an opportunity to elevate each one of them into cows and mythical swans, because our teachers have done it for us.
That is true. I wonder what I was. Thank you very much. And yes, it is true that a contemporary Indian English poet would need more exposure